Well, hello and welcome to another Tech Tuesday. We're really excited because today we have with us special guest Jennifer Cummings. She's a professional learning specialist with Khan Academy, and she's going to be showing all of us the really cool features and stuff that's new with Khanmigo today. And I'm excited because this is kind of my first time to learn about it. So I'm going to go ahead and just hand it over to you, Jennifer. Take us away.
Thanks so much, Josh. And thank you for having me today, this afternoon. I'm excited to showcase our AI tool, Khanmigo, that is coming up on a birthday sometime soon. We have been around for about 18 months now, having this feature as part of our platform, and it really has enhanced a lot of the supports and things that we provide for our teachers and then what they're able to do in the classroom. So we will go ahead and get started. As a welcome, I always like to level set with folks. And so if you want to drop into the chat for me, complete this sentence with the emoji of choice. So finding either a smiley face or a woo or whatever it is to finish this sentence. But AI in education makes me feel blank. And if you can't find your emojis, that's okay. You're welcome to drop a word or a feeling into the chat as well. So I'll give you just a second to do that. I can tell you that AI in education makes me feel excited. We got some clapping hands coming up. That's exciting. Interested. That's a great word. I would imagine that emoji is like the with the winking and the kind of thinking face. Perfect. Exactly. Just like that, Josh. The pondering face. Perfect. Well, I hope that whatever and however AI in education makes you feel, that you are able to grab onto something today and take it back to your classroom and or your office. So a couple of things for today in our short time together, we are going to take a dive into Khanmigo and we're going to explore some of the innovative approaches to support your planning and your tier one instruction in the classroom. So we're going to look at supporting some personalized learning for students. We're also going to look at some time-saving tools. That is one thing that I hear from teachers across the country is that there's just not enough time for the things that they are asked to do in their classroom and in their particular role. And then finally, we're going to talk about a few features, and you guys are going to get to see a few features for increasing student engagement. I know that the student after the pandemic, 5 years down, is very different. They want that engagement. They want to be a part of something. They want to feel connected to it. And so utilizing Khanmigo to help you do that in a very timely fashion. Just to kind of level set about Khan Academy, but our mission across the board is to provide a free world-class education to anyone, anywhere. And when AI started to come up on the scene, we also include AI in this mission statement. It's important for us to provide that equity across the board to anyone, anywhere, and help them have that free world-class education. So I'm going to hop over to the dashboard very quickly. If you are with us and you have a Khan Academy account, you are welcome to follow along. I will be narrating all of the things that I'm doing as well as showing you on the dashboard. So first and foremost, what you need to know is Khan Academy teacher tools are present in 3 different locations. You can actually access, when you get into Khan Academy, you can access the Khanmigo tools on the top bar. You can access the Khanmigo tools in the box, and you can also access them over here on this far side. My personal favorite is this drop-down menu in the top ribbon. When I click on that, you will most likely see my teacher tools, you will see my documents, and then you will also, as of just a few weeks ago, will see Writing Coach. Writing Coach is one of our new teacher learner activities that we've actually pulled out and created a space for it to be for anyone who has access to Khan Academy to be able to have access to that writing coach. And so I'm going to access our teacher tools from here. And I'm going to click on that link to send me to those teacher tools. And once you open up this full dashboard, this is our exhaustive list of tools. One thing that you need to know about Khanmigo, when it comes to how it functions, a lot of AI tools require prompting. If you've used ChatGPT or Gemini, or you've used Magic School, there is a level of prompting that has to come into play. With Khanmigo, all of our prompting is done on the back end. Our engineers and our programmers do that. And so what you're seeing in front of you, essentially with each one of these tools, is the prompt. So when you click on one of these tools, Khanmigo knows exactly what type of resource or what type of task you are about ready to ask it and interact with it. And once you click in it, it only requires just a little bit of context. We are going to hone in on 3 different ways that teachers and even admin can support what you do in the classroom using Khanmigo. So again, we're going to look at personalized learning. We're also going to talk about instant support. And then finally, we're going to talk about increasing student engagement. So with the personalized learning, we're really looking at those educational experiences to meet all of those individual needs. As I mentioned, the student now, 5 years after the pandemic, is very different from students prior to the pandemic. Before, there were different needs that were in the classroom, but it seems like now, even more, there is a wider variety of needs, interests, and strengths, and they need motivation and engagement to help support them in their learning and the things that they're doing. So we're going to go back to the dashboard. And on the dashboard, we are actually going to locate one of my favorite tools. Part of Khanmigo is inside, well, all of it is inside of the Khan Academy platform. And so because of that, it is connected to our robust course catalog. And so right down here, you'll notice that with that personalized learning, sometimes we need to be able to identify different exercises and skills for students to work on based on their needs. And so there's actually a tool called Recommend Assignments. So I'm going to click on Recommend Assignments. And you will notice that Khanmigo pops up and gives me an option for a class. One of the nice things about Khanmigo is it really is a time saver for teachers. It's going to help carry some of that cognitive load that's there for the planning. And so in this particular tool that I'm looking at, I would just need to decide which one of my classes am I focused in on. So I'm going to focus in on Algebra 1. These are called dynamic action bubbles, and a lot of our tools that Khanmigo has actually provide dynamic action bubbles to allow for that streamlined choice, as well as just helping teachers be able to move through very quickly. And you can see that Khanmigo is thinking. So Khanmigo's a little tired, but is gone through and is, in a matter of seconds, has grouped this particular class into particular groups of students based on their performance in the platform. You'll see the student names, and then you also can see individual exercises or videos within the Khan Academy platform. So it's directly connecting to the content inside of Khan Academy that I then can click on this particular exercise. It takes me to that exercise. And from there, as a teacher, 1, 2, 3, very easy, I can go in and I can assign to those particular students. I can go back to my list, my recommended assignments. I can go to group 2. I have these 2 options, and so on and so forth. So this particular tool allows me to pick and choose based on the needs of my students as they have performed. And so it's basically grabbing data from the platform and informing me and letting me know what kinds of instructional decisions need to be made. You'll also notice at the bottom that there is an option if I decide, you know what, those two exercises or that exercise in video is perfect. Then I can simply assign at one time all of those things that are listed for that particular group. And you'll see all 4 of those groups there. So if we're going to talk about personalized learning, this is exactly what that personalized learning is looking like. And I can assign it to my students in a very quick fashion. I'm going to go back to our dashboard with my teacher tools. And the next personalized learning is all about building community. It's helping students feel connected to one another, but also connected to the content. This is one of my personal favorites called Make It Relevant. I taught 8th grade science for 11 years, and if I had a dime for every time a student asked me, why do I need to learn this particular content, I would have quite a bit of dimes in my bank account. So I'm going to grab the Make It Relevant tool. You'll notice as it gets on here, the presentation of the Make It Relevant is just a little bit different from my recommended assignments. I do have to provide a little bit of context here. So I can put in a simple learning objective. I also can take a piece of the narrative of my TEK that I might be teaching, and I can drop it in there as a learning objective, or I can put in some simple words. So I'm going to choose to do 2-step equations. I'm going to say isolating the variable. And then you'll notice this second is a class profile. So this is asking me to think about my students, think about what I know about my students and what they are excited about outside of school and outside of the classroom. So I'm going to say my 7th graders are really into TikTok. So let's be honest, that is a true statement. And then I'm going to click start. And so I've given the context. Khanmigo knows, because I've clicked on the Make It Relevant, that it's going to create something for me. And you'll notice very quickly it has created just that. So I have 3 different opportunities. Khanmigo, while it is a time-saving tool and resource, we also still recognize that teachers want autonomy, and teachers know their students and they know their classroom and they know what they're teaching and to the depth and breadth of what they're teaching. And so Khanmigo wants to provide some options for teachers to directly align with the context that they provided. So I would simply look at my learning objectives. I could see this one, and this one. I have dance moves, I have math story time, or I have an equation challenges. So here I can determine which one of these activities do I think meets my students' needs outside of school? What are they most excited about? And what's the general culture of my classroom? From here, I can choose to take this and run with it. I also have an opportunity. You'll notice this little pinkish purple bar that keeps popping up to the side. I can actually open it, and you'll notice that it interacts with Khanmigo. So it basically sends up the flag and lets Khanmigo know that I want to have a conversation or I want to do something with this particular activity that it's given me. So I can make changes to this. I have an opportunity to try something different, or I have an opportunity to discuss it. So if I wanted step-by-step instructions, I could highlight my particular objective and I want to discuss it, or I also can open Khanmigo over to the side and I'm going to say, give me step-by-step directions for the highlighted objective. And we're waiting. There we go. So then Khanmigo, very clear and concise, gives me steps to this equation challenge. So I asked for the highlighted objective. And you'll notice step by step, it is something that I can then copy and paste and drop into a Google Doc and give it to my students. I can also project it up on the screen, and it helps me as the teacher be able to walk through with my students and help them see how it's relevant to the information that they are learning. The final personalized learning that I wanted to highlight for today is one that a lot of my English and social studies teachers really like. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard, and it is this tool right here. It is the chunking text tool. So how often do we have students who need grade level context, grade level text, but also need some additional supports, whether for fluency, if they are English language learners, or if it's someone who is needing a little bit of support on the comprehension or understanding of what they're reading. This tool does require you to have an electronic version of the text that you are utilizing, but you can see here 3 very easy fields to be filled in. And you have the choice of determining which type of chunk that you want to do. So once you put in the text title, you provide a copy and paste of the text. You can notice 1,500 words or less, and then you determine which type of chunk. Khanmigo will take that text and do those chunks. Again, then it's something that you can share, you can print, or you can export and get it to a PDF, a Word document, save it in your Google Drive, wherever you might need it to go. And the next part, so that's personalized learning for our students. This next piece is really talking about instant support for teachers. And the tools that I've already showed you, hopefully you saw how that is instant support and how teachers may spend hours chunking text or hours trying to figure out how to connect a particular lesson objective or topic or skill to something that the kids really like. Instant support is all about accessing tailored guidance that's ultimately going to save them time. It's going to increase their effectiveness, and it's also going to address those diverse classroom needs. So I am going to go back to our dashboard, and I'm going to click on Khanmigo Teacher Tools. One of the most popular teacher tools is our lesson plan. I'm going to click on our lesson plan. Again, all of the prompting is done on the back end. And so this particular lesson plan just needs a little topic. So I'm going to say 2-step equations. From here, I can choose my text. I am in Texas, so I'm going to choose my TEKS. And then I can pick my format, and it even says inside of here which things are included in this particular format. And so I'm going to click my 5-part. I do want high detail, and I'm going to click start. I can remember in the classroom, I spent hours writing lesson plans and making sure I had all of the pieces. And a matter of seconds, Khanmigo is going to take that small amount of context, connect it to a particular set of skills and or standard, and is going to give me all of the pieces of an effective Tier 1 lesson plan, anywhere from a warm-up to a direct teach to differentiation. You'll notice on here it has extensions. It even has places where it connects back to the content inside of Khan Academy. So this is really a great opportunity for teachers to go in and they can see all of the different pieces and maybe grab some different tools or different activities or ways to approach content. This is also a great tool for those first-year teachers that are trying to learn the content and learn how to be a teacher all at the same time. This is a great way to show them a good flow and how to connect all of those pieces. You'll notice it has a real-world scenario. It has some guided practice, manipulatives, and exit ticket that your teachers could utilize, as well as this lesson summary at the bottom. This lesson summary, I can make an adjustment. So if I only have a 48-minute class period, Khanmigo will rewrite this lesson plan to give me that 48-minute time frame. Again, this is saved in my documents. I also have the opportunity to share, print, or export. Notice I can put it in lots of different places. So talk about time saving and instant support for teachers. Our second tool under the instant support is going to be creating exit tickets. Teachers want to know all the time, did my kids get what I taught them? And they spend a lot of time trying to create that. But we have a tool called an exit ticket tool. Again, I provide the grade level. I also provide isolating the variable. And I click start. Notice it is least amount of content or context, and Khanmigo takes it and runs with it. This is something that you could print, you could export. You also can share it if teachers are creating this and want to share with their PLC or share with their team. There is a way to grab that link and share it, very much like any sort of Google Doc that you might have. You also have the opportunity to export it. One of the new pieces is putting it into a PowerPoint or a Google slide. That is an opportunity to save some time there. The final one that I want to share with you guys for this particular piece is inside of the courses. So inside of the courses, this is not necessarily with Khanmigo, but it can support Khanmigo. Inside of the courses, you've got these unit guides. And these unit guides are going to give all sorts of information. And as I'm pulling up the unit guide, there is all sorts of information and connection back to the Khan Academy platform. These are also things that I could copy and paste and drop into Khanmigo if I needed clear directions or if I wanted discussion questions or discussion prompts to help support. So this can provide the context, and then the tools within Khanmigo are able to support the students. The final little section, and we'll spend just a few minutes on, is increasing student engagement, because that's ultimately one of the pieces, offering feedback, getting them exploration. Okay, there we go. And then also helping to motivate our students. We want to make sure our students are motivated. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I'm going to go back to my teacher tools. One of the ways that I can excite my students and get them engaged is I can hook them in with a particular lesson or a topic. So here again, I have an individual tool. I click on the lesson hook. I choose my grade level. I choose my topic, two-step equations. And I can provide some additional lesson context, but I don't have to. I only have to provide those two pieces, and Khanmigo will go to work, providing me again with options, with opportunities, which one works best for my students, which one works best for our situation, and where we are in the particular content. So this is going to grab their interest as we walk into this particular lesson objective. Another one that's very similar to our Make It Relevant is our real world connection generator or context generator. It's going to work very similarly. You'll notice a trend here. We have to provide context a lot of times and grade level, and Khanmigo takes it and runs with it. It's also going to give us some individual ideas, and I can decide from here. I can also, again, interact with Khanmigo and get Khanmigo to help me think a little bit further along. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, there are only materials for reading in English. Yes, reading in English. There is an opportunity for you utilizing the Chat GPT if you have a district rostered account. the chat GPT function can kind of help you translate. But yes, there is right now only reading materials in Spanish. The language is kind of a little barrier there. And as I finish up with that, these are a lot of tools, but the one thing I want you to take away from this is that Khanmigo is really user friendly. And you just have to provide the context and really think about how you want to use Khanmigo and when you want to use Khanmigo. And with that, I will be happy to answer any questions. If there's anything else in the chat. We do have just a few minutes. Nope. All right. I did also want to mention that we do have a Khan Academy team in Texas. We are here to answer any questions. We are happy to pop into PLCs. We're happy to meet you for a moment in the virtual world and be able to answer any questions that you might have and help you see how Khan Academy and Khanmigo can support what you're doing in the classroom. And this is one of my favorite quotes from Sal Khan, our founder and CEO. He really does utilize AI not as a replacement for teachers, but as an enhancement to the instruction that's happening and to help teachers save time with all of the tasks and all of the challenges and charges that teachers have. So no technology is a silver bullet, but AI is a game changer. And it really is a great equalizer in the classroom, being able to address a variety of student needs and situations in a very short period of time, very rigorous, as well as just on target and best practice for your students. I've enjoyed being here today. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to more conversations about Khanmigo with teachers in Midland.
Awesome. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for showing us all of that. I really liked the last tool you showed there, the real world application, but all of it was great. And so once again, we just want to say thank you for joining us, and thank you to all of you guys who joined us today, or even if you're watching later on YouTube. And we will see you on the next Tech Tuesday. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to edit this down because for some reason I cannot end the recording. I don't know if maybe Isabel, if you're able to. But I think that was a great